afternoon you'll be approving the strategic framework. So weightings. Weightings are used when we rank the region's activities later in the year. So the intention of weightings is to reflect what matters most to you so that the projects that align more strongly to your priorities receive higher scores. But weightings are only one part of the ranking approach, which also includes feasibility and affordability. So this was just to give you an example of the tool that we will be developing based on your guidance today. So the tool will have 8 columns, 4 of which are about strategic alignment, and the other 4 are about feasible and affordable. The attributes that will be put in those columns will usually come from the GPS and the strategic framework that you'll approve later today. And then the weightings, which we will come back to you with in May, is the line that I'm getting your guidance from in this workshop. And then the way we would allocate points as staff to the activities, that will be done with the Canterbury Transport Officers group, which is then, that's essentially internal guidance for the staff so they know how to assess their activities against the scoring. So the first activity is, this is a list of themes that come from various transport documents, and what would be useful to us is if you could shape these into a ranked list or groupings. I've put maintaining the network first because that's traditionally been the priority, the number one priority in the Regional Land Transport Plan, and then looking at the other things on the list, and if you think that those are of equal importance to that or the next down, and grouping, making similar groupings that should share similar rankings. So if I hand to you, yep, Mr. Chair, to...
Yeah, James, did you have a question or something you wanted to say before we kick in?
Thank you. It's just around the use of words finalise and draft and things like that. It's a repeat in a way of what I said last time round. I'm really comfortable proceeding with this, provided, from my point of view, we can revisit this and will revisit this when we have a finalised GPS, indeed probably a number of times as we get a draft GPS, because at the moment we're taking stuff from an existing GPS. It's the operative GPS, but it won't be by the time this RLTP is submitted for the NLTP. And I want to be really clear that our RLTP, when we get to adopt it, is consistent with that GPS, not the one we are operating under today. So I'm not objecting to the work we're doing. I think it's great. I just want to be really reassured that when you say finalise in May, that isn't final. That's for now as we move forward.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we are expecting that the draft GPS will come in time for us to come to the May meeting with something that aligns, or at minimum has a weighted placeholder based on discussions we're having between, there's coordinated networks between the GPS team, the RLTP leads and the NLTP teams. And while they can't tell us decisions or things that sit with the Minister, they can certainly give us an indication of the risk and if we are within ballpark and how much rework it might be to align. And so we're using that to shape the alignment.
So as long as we get clear guidance during that process about if we're off the mark or close to the mark, that would be really useful, and share that with the committee as it happens, so there's no sort of surprises right at the end. I think that would be quite useful.
Yep.
Noting, of course, that there is an election in November, there will be a new draft GPS post that. It won't be finalised until this time next year.
That is the frustrating part of this process.
I get it. Yep. I'd rather move to that timeline than just stick our fingers in our ears.
Yeah. I think that would be the intention, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, that some of this is sector-wide issues that we do our best to align with and work to.
Did you have anything else there?
We're just working to be as nimble as possible, really, in this whole process, and appreciate that this isn't the first time we've had to adjust with a different GPS for the transport plan. So we'll continue to work through that and certainly provide the committee with the right advice at the right time. So.
Excellent. Okay, so I mean, coming back to this slide that we've got the business in front of us right now, is there anything on this list at the moment that you would believe is more important than A, maintaining the network? So I don't think there's anything. So the next one I'd probably ask is there anything else that would be of equal importance?
Probably access to essential services.
Anybody else have a comment on that? Murray?
Can I just clarify, when we talk about maintaining the network, are we talking about the whole of network, inclusive of bridges as well as roads, as well as everything else? Yeah, as long as we're all clear on that, because other than that, we need to be more specific about maintaining our bridging stock, because, So I don't know whether it needs to be more explicit than that, but just a thought.
I think in the white paper that we've got coming to the Mural Forum tomorrow, the number one on that is bridges, which is really important for your district, obviously. Well, yes. I know how many you have.
You won't get your baked beans into the city if you don't maintain our bridge.
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously we've got Mayor Rowley is saying that access to essential services is equally as important as maintaining the network. Now, that's at the opposite end of where it is at the moment. Do we believe that do we think that accessing the essential services should fit within this list? Above or below? Yeah, do you want to say anything to that?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I think there's seems to be some natural groupings in this list and that sort of thing. So rather than picking A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3, I think that you could quite easily break this up into quite natural sort of groupings, because you've got the likes of technological shift and innovation and strong private sector relationships with business. Well, they obviously naturally fit together. And then you've got reducing nitrogen oxide and reducing greenhouse gases. I don't know what the difference is. And that it's all, well, I do, but it sort of sits in the same thing. So I think, and maintaining the network and building resilient high-risk bridge design, transport options, adapting to climatic conditions, reliable travel times, it all sits under that maintaining the network. I think it needs to be more as groups rather than trying to pick a winner out of A to M. I think we could lump it into, obviously the key one for us is maintaining the network, and under that sits access to essential services, adapting to climatic conditions, being resilient to high risk hazards, and then you could go to probably what's slightly less important is technological shifts and strong partnerships and work like that. It just seems to me there is natural groupings in there.
And probably the road accidents sit where you're talking as well, Craig. If we've got a well-maintained network, we're likely to reduce accidents or potential for.
Craig? Then I'll come to you, James.
I've just been sitting here doing my own little grouping.
As you do?
To me, if you were to group A, even C, I, and J, the likes of L, M, H, B naturally follow suit anyway. So I'd put those 4 at the top if it was me.
So is this grouping thing possible, or is it just have to be a list?
No, you can have as many groups as you like. You could have 2 groups and have A as number 1 and B to M as number 2.
Oh, I see.
Just what we're getting an idea is what's more important, and is there something that's floating to the top that then would be given a higher weighting? Is there something that you're definitely like that we're pushing this down? We can then give that a lower weighting when we come back. So it's up to you how you would like to group them. And the groupings that seem natural to you as a committee.
So those suggestions that Craig, sorry, I just clicked on that. The 2 Craigs have said are fairly aligned. Are you capturing those as we go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've put a note around bridges because it isn't explicit. So I've put that in that top grouping. So So we've got, I had a grouping that was A and M, but also A and C. Is it A, C, and M?
I think A would probably be on its own. We'd probably agree that A by itself, maintaining the network, and then under that another set of groupings, or are you saying something slightly different?
Slightly different.
Yeah. Okay.
You maintain, for a start, you're talking further down, drainage and culverts. That is maintenance. If you're maintaining all that, you are protecting your network.
Yeah.
Which, as I say, you do A, C, I, and J. It doesn't make the others any less important because they will naturally flow with it.
And then adding the bridges in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, James?
Yeah, so mine is the counter position. I would strongly recommend having A stand on its own. I can see culverts sneaking in there, although it depends. I'm thinking about how the money works, right?
Yeah.
It is, unless we have a radically different approach under a GPS. GPSs look at your maintenance of what you've got and anything new and improving levels of service or what have you. And I think it is helpful if we can be very clear, maintaining what we've got, even if we actually think we would like better, is a higher order category of activity than better, even if we think in some instances better, like better culverts, better drainage, better bridges, is really, really, really important. Everything I can see about what we're being told is maintain what you've got, except in the instance where it really makes no sense to because we're abandoning that particular piece, but that's the very rare exception. So I would plump for A standing alone and then thinking about what's the most important new thing we need. And if that new thing is bridges and culverts and other things, then I'd put that next down. But I would...
Yeah, I mean, my gut's saying something similar, and I'm only thinking of, I don't know if any of the mayors have read the Infrastructure Commission report that they released. Was it yesterday or the day before? Oh, you've got it right there. It really does explicitly talk about the maintenance pace and maintaining as a very, very clear recommendation for the government. Whether they do it or not is another story, but I don't know. I mean, from what James is saying, there's a slight difference of views there. I mean, do you agree with what he's saying there, Craig?
I do.
But
it's not really a but.
Oh, good.
I'm not going to give you the whole free rein on it, though. Yeah, for sure. You maintain what you got. Thought you cut me off there, Mary.
No, but I will next time.
It does feed down. Like if you maintain what you got, and we're allowed to maintain what we've got, every $3 or dollar spent now isn't $3 in 3 years, it's $10 in 3 years type thing. Yeah. So we will be able to maintain and improve going forward, hopefully, James. But yeah, I just see that group saving a hell of a lot of money in the long run, and I'm struggling with the leave it till it's ruined type thing. If you can't get rid of your floodwaters, your roads will go.
The other Craig and Lydia, and then we'll come back to you in a second.
I'd just like to see the first one, maintain and improve the network. And I think you could do away with half the others if you put that in there. And that, because I think it's not. I don't want to see us concentrate on just maintaining. I want to see us improving, and that sort of thing. So I think that it needs to be maintain and improve the network is a key priority.
Lydia,
I think. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out your system. It's been a while since I've been in here. And sorry, Craig, that was me. I think that the maintain the network, and I think improve is great because that is what we're wanting to do. It's not just as it was. Let's actually move forward. And when we're asking for dollars, from James, I think, that A is the most important out of the lot. And then I see them all grouped into resilience. So essential services, freight efficiency, hazard and bridges, culverts, drainage is all that resilience type package. And we probably just need to shape that of how the funding and the dollars look into that. And then I see the other stuff is kind of nice, like in the tech, innovation, greenhouse gas, NOx, and then there's kind of like the other one, which is partnership, population, household spending, travel time, road crashes into their own pot too. But I think,
Did Liz, did you have something you wanted to say? And then we'll come back to you.
I'm
James.
probably on a similar vein to Lydia,
Yeah.
so I've just grouped them as well, and kind of like with like, but keep A is the top one on its own.
Okay, so James?
I was just going to pick up on Craig's, the other Craig's, Southern Craig. To me, look, A is a distinct category, and B through M are the reasons why you would improve. And I think we can have a discussion about which is most important and which improvements are the most important. But I think maintain and improve actually captures everything. And so at that point, you've got no priority, right? I totally get that we want to improve and maintenance is not enough. But the first dollar, in my view, would be maintaining.
Murray?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything that's contrary to what we're trying to achieve here. And if it means we're using words that are going to help us get into that bucket of money, I think I'm happy to use the words that are going to help us get there, you know? So I don't think there's a dissenting voice about what we're trying to achieve and what words we are going to use. I would use to help get in help.
Craig?
Yeah.
Chafing at the bit.
I know you are.
So if the groupings, if grouping is out, I would go A, I, J in that order, followed by C.
Well, we didn't hear groupings were out necessarily, but what I think I've heard, and I'll come back and get your summation on this, is that A, maintaining the network as a standalone priority is really, really critical to be able to access the funding, and then we can do some of the groupings about, and I actually agree with what James was saying there around the why do we want to improve and prioritising those whys. I think that's a really good point, James, and I think it's I think that's exactly what the members have been saying, I think. Is there anything?
Yes, I mean, I can take this back and say that A and then your next grouping were almost inseparable for the committee, and that is good guidance that we can take and then come back with weightings, because then you'll have another discussion about the weightings at the May meeting.
Yep.
And then, so at the moment, what I've got is I've got A, and then I've got I, J, C, and
M is
M,
M yes.
in that second group. And then I had some D, E, which is the tech shift and the strong relationships.
Yep.
Then I heard a mention of F and J in with that. So I just wanted to clarify, is that a same grouping or are those?
Well, H was also in H. I think they were joining the H and the F. H and the F as well. Yep.
You don't need to have all of them. You can say, and all the rest, we're not worried, and that's good guidance for us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so much not worried, if it's done in the right order, the rest will naturally happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is everybody comfortable with what has been said, James?
I just have the ghost of Mayor Dan, who's not in the room. B's going to have to be somewhere there for this region, right? There are just stunning, in some parts of the region, stunning pressures on the network for that reason and that reason alone. You're not going to capture it in any of the others. I think we'd be doing us a disservice if we didn't have B sitting there somewhere.
And important for Selwyn as well.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's part of it, but I'm really cognizant. I hate harping on about it because I feel like a broken record and it's,
It's your reality.
But to me, actually maintaining the network is still the most important. But I think that we're right. All the other stuff just flows on from that. And effectively it is like, what is the priority after that? So maintaining the network is the dead priority, and then how do we get equal share across everyone with the great big pot that you're going to deliver to us? You're welcome.
Foreign actor?
Yeah. I just got in and I've just arrived on a flight from China. I just have a few things I'd like you to
I don't understand what you're saying. Move on.
to take on board, and I've got a gift from you. It's a USB. I'd like to argue for GDP and economic activity, and why I say that. So I could argue quite clearly that the money spent in addressing population growth in and around the Woodian bypass could be better spent on four-laning between Timaru and Ashburton, and it would do more for the economy. Wouldn't do more for the pressure points of of commuter travel. However, I know. No, I don't mind.
I'm lucky Dan's not here. I'd have to mediate this.
Yeah. No, that's and I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but if you look at a national party that's currently focused on growth, and actually we're with a limited bucket of money, whereas the money be spent, I could quite easily argue that that's population growth and economic activity. And there again, what we're battling is 5% of national land transport funding, and if we don't put some, forcibly put some points in there around that, I think we're, kicking a dead horse. And so and there's a dead Chinese horse. I brought it over with me.
Well, it's the year of the horse, mate.
Mongolia. That's my thing. I think we've just got to be careful that we don't not address that. There again, Canterbury's economic powerhouse. Where do we, our biggest challenge at the moment is, we can be highlighting all these things, but actually we're competing with Auckland. Look at the document that's landed.
So is there some way we can, in this, maybe addressing population growth and GDP activity or something along those lines, which would capture and it gives us an advocacy point to go to the government and say, you know what, this is a priority of ours, GDP activity, we need to match that with the funding. Okay. Do you have something you want to add there?
Yeah.
We'll find the words.
If it helps, I was just going to say, just listening to the conversation, you've sort of...
I've got you.
Yep. You've grouped into themes of maintenance and renewals, essentially, maintaining the network, resilience, safety, access and innovation, economic growth, and emissions reduction, if you like. So that's probably 6 different sort of themes that we're sitting in. And if you think about what we're going to talk about later on this afternoon about the strategic framework and the investment priorities, you want to see that mimicked in there. So if that helps, that's the kind of sort of themes that I was hearing, and then you just categorise each of these under those, but A being the top one, as you've said, and then going from there. So do you put economic growth second and then maybe resilience third, or how does that sort of work through that? And then that logically then shifts where each of these sit within the list, if you like. So
I think that's a good steer forward for us. You're comfortable with that? Captured everything? Excellent.
So I just wanted to check where you wanted to position in terms of those groupings that we've got noted, the order of those groupings. So maintaining the network first, then it was the resilience.
Economic growth.
I think it's
economic
addressing
growth.
population growth and the economic activity piece would
Was
probably be... What did you hear? Oh, the resilience, yeah.
Resilience,
So-
Yeah.
growth, or are they
Yeah.
equal?
You could weight them equally, put them at equal ranking, resilience and economic. That's good guidance for us as well. If that,
Does it have to be a layer? Could it just be A up the top and then the rest is sort of equal? Right. Yeah.
Craig?
I think we're just mucking around the edges, quite frankly. Listen, if you have maintaining and improving the network, this will allow us to do B through M. It's a natural throw, and it doesn't matter which way you put them around. If you say our key priority is maintaining and improving the network, with the focus on addressing the other items, and by maintaining and improving your network, you are going to achieve everything else under that list.
Yeah, it's got to go with that.
Yeah.
That matrix.
I don't have that piece of paper.
Challenge if we don't split them out is that when we start to allocate what the priority is within those for the funding and the priority projects that each of the councils will come to us with. So if one council had a project in the emissions space that was, how are we weighting those different categories as you go down? That's the step. That's the challenge for us. So I understand what you're saying, Mayor Ali, as well, but just, the next step is, as James said, just the weighting of each category, if you put them into categories.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second one is definitely resilience. Yeah.
The current context.
Anything else, Claire?
So just reiterating the concepts we've got the first one is maintenance, then the other ones that we've got is resilience, innovation, emissions, and the population growth and economic development.
Yep.
Those were the clusters.
Yes. So it'll just be a matter of where they fit is going to be really important.
Yeah, so for me, it would be maintenance, resilience, growth.
Yep.
And then the rest. But that's my view.
Yeah, I was just maintenance, resilience, growth.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Which is yep.
Growth of population and economic.
And then everything else.
That cluster that you talked about. And then the others, they're all important, but
all that resilience is
separate
built into that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, economic. Yeah,
That's right.
Economic and population, the same cluster. Yeah.
Is that fair? Cool. Okay. Everybody comfortable with that?
Good work.
Just
good work.
Yep.
Until we see the results of it, we want to change it.
Now put it back in. Now what we'll do is we'll bring that back, put it on paper, and there'll be a different argument again. So we'll move forward with that, and we'll move to the next slide before somebody else wants to add something else. Excuse me, you're not there yet. You're all foreign actors now.
We're moving pretty quick. I reckon we're moving so fast, Chair Swiggs, I think we'll have some time for some regional governance this afternoon as well.
There's a few floods around the place that you need to deal with. So, Claire.
Sure. Okay. So after the plan is
Order. Oh.
After the plan is approved, the committee has a role in approving variations, and the significance policy shapes what decisions come back to the committee for decision and what are made at the local level or by NZTA about the work program. And the current policy settings we have are super empowering, some of the most empowering policy in New Zealand. So really delegated decisions to the approved organisations and very little having to come back to the committee to approve. And just so when we get to the next activity, part of that will give us a steer on how happy you are with that current approach. And then the other aspect that we'll look at is the monitoring framework. So this is about your duty to monitor the performance of the investment. And at the moment, we don't have the organisations coming back and representing their work program and their progress. We just give you an annual monitoring report of high-level indicators. So it's to give us a steer of if you're comfortable with that level of assurance in terms of performance monitoring. So to help with this, what I've created is this quadrant. So one layer is the autonomy of the organisations around the committee, and the other layer is how much assurance you would like as a committee that people are following the collective plan. At the moment, we are in the kind of high trust approach, where there's minimal constraints of the organisations around the table and high-level annual monitoring, and just checking in if you're still happy with that approach, if you're still comfortable with that approach, that the monitoring gives you enough visibility and accountability, and that you're comfortable with the level of autonomy.
Around the room is what's people's thoughts? James, I see you've got an opinion.
Always, Mr. Chair. If the mood of the room is to stay where we are, fine. But personally, and from an agency point of view, I would prefer we move to high. I like the enablement. It's very useful. I can think of a number of instances this cycle where we have worked with other AOs to move things around and jigger the system. And in that sense, the highly permissive environment works. But I'm frequently asked to report on the activity of the agency at this committee, and I frankly think and we could maybe set a size of investment or whatever, but I think what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. I am going to show you this afternoon some of what I can produce for you, or we can deliver through offices in terms of your spend rates and how you're going. There is an awful lot of work being done by the sector to validate performance and delivery, and I think it's a really useful discussion given the sums of money to be had at this committee. So I personally think it would take more time from us over the course of the training, but I like high. I think it's a good place to start.
And at the moment we're high-low, aren't we?
We're high-low.
Yeah. So any discussion on the contrary to that, or in support of that? So is there any downside to going to the high?
The downside would be, a little bit more work. So we will take that guidance and come back with what it would look like to have organisations reporting back on their delivery. We can work with NZTA on what might be able to be provided in terms of similar to what you've got in the update there. And so, we will come up with a way that's fit for purpose for our current levels of funding to provide you with a value for money approach to high.
The only question I have for you, James, then, is that if we go into the high thing, is there a way where you can reduce the regulatory burden that we all have? Like if we're going into that type of model, there needs to be some bit of give and a bit of take.
I think in all seriousness, it depends what you mean by regulatory burden. I mean, I was going to say earlier when we had the significance policy, and we can come to it when you give us an actual one to discuss. I mean, we are absolutely looking at the mechanics we impose on local government with a view to try to reduce a lot of that. Mm-hmm. That's not regulatory burden per se. It's absolutely bureaucratic burden.
It's bureaucratic. Probably
and we think we can move quite significantly to get out of your way. Can't yet tell you what that looks like, so I can't commit to it, Mr. Chair. But no, we absolutely desire to, trust but verify, but move to the point of view where if you can show that you're good, great, we'll get out of your way and you be good over there because you're good, and if you're not, we'll work with you to get you to good. But look, it might be that high is, this is just a matrix, right? It's a really useful tool, but actually at the end of the day, medium's good enough, and we're happy with the information flows. I just simply think the sums of money that we are theoretically responsible for in terms of approving programs here, they are eye-wateringly large, and not just in the state highway space, and they're deeply important to the community, and I think we should check that we're actually doing what we said we'd do.
Murray?
My question was, if we went to a high model, is that going to speed us up or slow us down? Or give us better information to say we're doing what we should be doing?
I think it's that bit.
So there's no risk to actual delivery or amount of money to put into delivery, because that's the big part that I worry about. We've only got a certain amount of bucket of money and people. We don't want to be overwhelming them and not actually delivering.
I'll look to Claire, but I mean, my starting assumption is the information that I think we should be looking at already exists. It is already being generated by the system. It is simply about floating it up so that it's in front of the committee.
Radio. So is everybody reasonably comfortable with that? Okay, I think there's a few nods.
So just on that point, just conscious of the size of teams across council, you're confident that that won't unduly affect a smaller council?
No, so like if maintenance is our top priority, to pick on maintenance, it's a huge it's almost the only activity that you're undertaking. There is a huge amount of work done across the sector by Reg Group, the Road Efficiency Group, which is collaborative between ourselves, and that information's already there. I don't have my laptop on me, but Claire can. I can already throw you up how you're doing on seal performance and renewals, and that it's all there. It's all dashboarded. It's just we're not talking about it. So I don't think it's taking any more out of your rating team at all. It's there. We can just talk about it.
Some RTCs, it's the person who's in this role just shows the Transport Insights dashboard, which has it has a value for money wheel on it. It's just not something we've traditionally done, but it doesn't mean we can change into that space, no problem. If you'd like that visibility and assurance, can be done.
I think that's not a bad thing. The only thing is that if we do that, James, I want an assurance that you will come to this committee at some stage and discuss what you just mentioned about what those bureaucratic pieces are, so how we can start simplifying. Because I know we're going through a simplifying local government process, and everything that I say to the government and everybody I talk to there is we actually should be simplifying the interface between local government and central government. So if you can give us that, then I'd be more comfortable going to that space.
New National Manager for Local Government starts in March. I'll as soon as I've got something I can confidently show you, I'll happily show you. Absolutely. Cool. Just to look, we're all in agreement, but just to bang on the point. Look, for example, the Minister was exorcised at the end of last year by the information that we provided him that the spend rate in the local government activity classes was much, much lower, or the claim rate, actually, not the spend, the money out the door from us to local government was much, much lower than it ought to be at that point in the 3-year cycle. And he wrote to a number of AOs to say, hurry the hell up, you're not spending your money, what are you doing? And I think if we're not ahead of that, all you are is getting hit over the back of the head of it because you weren't actually aware that risk was coming. I just think it's us doing our job.
Cool, thank you. Anything else from anybody? No, I think we're good there, thank you. I think there's a steer to go to the high with James's assurance he's going to make it less bureaucratic. Awesome.
That's it. Thank you, guys. And we'll come back with papers and things like that in the May meeting. That's based on the guidance today. Thank you.
Great. Appreciate your time. Anything else from the committee members that they want to say? Awesome. All right. Well, there's still some food out there, so we'll close off, and we've got your next briefing starts at 2:00. Thank you.